Apologies, I will speak in English. There is a translation on a sheet being handed round, and I will be very brief. Just...
Že ty překlady jsou, když tak vyzvednutí tady. Tady máš, když tak svečna, kdyby někdo chtěl překlad, tak si může vzít. Děkuji.
So first of all, I only have 7 minutes, so I will be very fast. But I would like to start by saying how pleased we are to be a partner in this conference and to congratulate the main organisers and thank them for inviting me to speak. I've been asked to say a little bit about growing the creative economy. I'm going to talk about 3 areas. Very quickly, why? Why is this important? Secondly, the UK's approach. And thirdly, just very briefly, what the British Council is doing in Europe and particularly here in the Czech Republic. The why, I think we've all gone through the why. Marta Smolikova's talk covered a lot of the documents that I refer to here. She didn't mention the UNCTAD report, which said really quite striking results. In the 6 years from 2002 to 2008, the export of creative goods and services doubled. And it even grew in 2008 when the world was getting ready for a financial meltdown. So this is a really strong part of our economy, and there are lots of other benefits that investing in creativity and culture brings, social, not just economic but social. I've been asked to talk about, particularly focus on the UK's approach, and people, the organisers of the conference have talked about the golden age. Unfortunately, the golden age has passed, and finding data about the actual level of investment in that golden age was difficult to do. But in the mid to late 1990s, the UK government recognised that the creative and cultural industries were making a significant contribution and had real potential for growth, and started to invest in supporting that growth. And so some of the areas that were invested in, or some examples of how that was done. Sorry, I'll just click over. First of all, making sure that there's lots of organisations that can support creative and cultural industries. So public agencies such as the Arts Council, Nesta, which is the National Endowment for Science and Technology, and the arts. So bringing together arts into a wider mix. A technology strategy. BFI is the British Film Institute, Creative England. This next long quotation I took from a talk which is on the British Council's website for the creative economy by Tom Harvey, who's Chief Executive of Northern Film and Media, and he was speaking at a conference in the Lebanon. And I think the important bit of his quotation is the second half, so after the ... Public money helps create an environment where we're more relaxed about dreaming, experimenting, risking, failing, and therefore succeeding. And I think that's a really important point. The creative and cultural industries are risky, and they do fail, but when they succeed, they also succeed big time. And I think what's also important is that investing in the creative economy and growing the creative economy is not just about money. It's about confidence, support, and encouragement. A few examples of investment: London Design Fair, Tate Modern. You can find out more about these by Googling them all. And I've also added Ingenious Media. Martin Smith of Ingenious Media was at a conference that we supported and were a main organiser of in May. And his point, the point that he made very strongly, is that actually if something's worth investing in it, then private finance will invest in it too, not just public finance. And he argued very strongly and gave some very good examples of successes of financial private investment in growing the creative industries. What can policymakers do? This is from Martin Smith's talk back in May. The main role is to establish a framework for developing broad strategy. So you have copies of this, so I won't read it all. But some examples of policy interventions, things that policymakers have done to help grow. The first example is it recognises that education and skills are vital for supporting growth. And I think one of the a silver lining from the current employment crisis is that training institutions, certainly in the UK, are recognising that apprenticeships are a very, very good way of addressing the unemployment crisis, and there are lots of creative apprenticeship schemes developing now. A creative industries roundtable, recognising that this is not just the domain of the arts and the cultural sector, but actually regional development, employment agencies, social affairs organisations, all have a role to play here, and bringing them all together. And this Creative Industries Roundtable was set up in 2007 and I believe continues. And similarly, the Creative Industries Council, about 30 people covering the whole of the creative sector, working together to develop ideas and support each other and lobby also for financial support at government level for what they need. And finally, what is the British Council's approach? I was interested to hear the presentation and the talk about the role of the Czech centres. In the British Council, we don't really see our role as being promoting the UK or promoting awareness of the UK's artistic or cultural output. What we do see our role as is connecting people from the UK with other countries, so here in the Czech Republic, to work together, share ideas, share experience, and learn from each other. And so our approach is very much about learning from each other. We have a project called International Young Creative Entrepreneurs, which identifies rising stars from across Europe, brings them together to share ideas with each other and work with each other. We've produced a toolkit which helps people to map the creative industries. That's a really important starting point. You can't build until you know what you're building on. So mapping and support of that is very important. Future City Jobs is a project that I'm very close to. Pro-Culture here in the Czech Republic and the District of Prague too are partners. And it's a project working with 6 cities across Europe, developing ideas and trialling those ideas to try to address youth unemployment through the creative industries. And support for local conferences and events, which is why I'm here today. And we have a website which pulls together all of those bits of information. So I haven't got děkuji za pozornost, but thank you very much for your attention.